Hey folks, Jeff from Corrugated Cavalier here. Today is sword versus mail. I have done a video on dagger versus mail as well. However, we talk a lot about finding the gaps in harness fighting with the sword as well, and I just wanted to test that out. This is the Windlass Royal Armories 14th century Holy Roman Empire longsword that I will do more of a review on later. But so far I'm loving it, and it has a really nasty point, and a lot of people think that this will probably be a harness sword because it is quite thick, has a nice thick spine to it, and seems perfect for finding the gaps and penetrating through mail. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This is the same mail setup that I used for the dagger version. However, I did go through and replace any missing rivets, and if there was like one missing ring and I could figure out exactly where it needed to be, I replaced that. These green spots are where there are multiple missing rings, so I'm going to just not go for those. So I have 4 layers of linen, pretty sturdy linen underneath that. Then I have an old yoga mat, and underneath that I have a pork shoulder. Don't worry, there's going to be some really dope carnitas made out of that tomorrow. So obviously this whole target can't really move, but there is a fair bit of play in this system. It's not perfectly rigid. So I think that this can mimic somebody really having their weight committed forward. You're not going to easily knock a human back with the point of a weapon, I don't think, and in my experience. All right, that said, I'm going to put some gauntlets on, and I'm going to try a couple of different techniques. I'm going to try 2 hands on the grip with basically no momentum, starting here and then a little bit further back and gaining some momentum. Then I'm going to do half sorting kind of grips a couple of times, also starting from here and then with a little bit more momentum. Let's see how it goes. All right, so first attempt is going to be with both hands on the grip. With gauntlets, this is a nice tight grip, and I'm going to start in contact with the mail and just commit body weight forward on the thrust. Okay, so we have definitely gone through the mail. We have definitely gone through the mail. Obviously not a whole lot. I don't think we broke any rings. Let me check real quick. Nope, no broken rings, just cut into one of them a bit. However, it did go through the yoga mat as well. So you can see right here, it was one of these two. I'm not sure which, because I did a test, and it's one of those two. But it went through the yoga mat as well. And also into the pork shoulder. It definitely broke the plastic. I'm trying to find the hole. I just saw it, I think.
It got filled with...
So right here you can see that did break the plastic and go into the pork shoulder. I saw the hole a second ago. I think it's gotten filled in with delicious juices now. Let's give that a shot with a little further back and some momentum. Okay, test number 2. Both hands on the grip, but a little bit further back so I can get some momentum and really drive into this. Okay, so I did a couple there. Definitely more penetration when I got a solid hit, but accuracy suffered. I was just off to the side on some of those. However, I definitely did break one rivet. It's going to be kind of hard to see on camera because it's just kind of like where the flat part is and the rivet is set kind of started shearing off. You can see this one standing up right here. So this piece just started shearing off basically, and I can take that off with my finger now, and the rivet had no connection anymore. Interestingly, there's also a ring right around there that got really deformed, a solid ring that got super deformed. It's basically an oval now, and that's why I had a hard time getting that one that I popped the rivet on. So yeah, it's once again probably hard to see, but this ring here is basically an oval now, and it is no longer round. So that means that something from another side was pulling. I'm guessing when I popped that rivet. I believe that this is the hole from the first one. This is, I'm pretty sure, when I missed off to the side, but I'm pretty sure that this is the hole from that first one in that video. And yeah, it's hard to get a precise depth, but I mean, I'm getting most of my pinky in there after the mail and the linen. Let me go wash my hands and try a couple other things. Okay, next up, half sorting. My gloves are pretty thin, so I'm going to use an extra one just in case. With no momentum, starting at the mail, basically, with my point touching the mail. Okay, I think I definitely got some ring breakage on that. We'll see. Definitely some good penetration. Yeah, I'd say I broke some rings. Certainly. And I don't think anybody would want this sword going that far into them. Okay, yeah, so I completely popped one of these rivets out. I did not cut through anything, but I completely popped one of these rivets. Once again, it just kind of broke the base where they have to flatten the ring out a little bit more so that you can join the two sides. That's what happened again. Yeah, this ring is... Yeah, that little piece just came off on my finger while I was trying to get it in camera view. But this ring is completely destroyed. Let me see. I don't know how well you can see it. I'm really trying to get my fingers out of the way. But this ring is completely destroyed. And that certainly got me better depth of penetration. So that was just starting with my point resting on the mail and just driving with my body weight. Let's go check out what happened with the yoga mat and the fork. So this is the hole in the yoga mat. I used a different spot, and this one was basically off target. So this is certainly the hole in the yoga mat that was there. This is not from that cut. That was from that thrust. This is from one that went through the side, sort of, on the last one. This is the hole in the pork shoulder. Once again, it's hard to get a precise measurement off of that, but you saw how far the sword was poking through the mail. So one can only imagine that, you know, that was a good, solid thrust into there. All right, let's try some half sorting with some momentum now. Okay, now we're gonna go half sorting, but with some momentum behind it. So I'll start a bit off the target, build up some speed and some momentum. Use some Fury Raised Serpent here. That was not a very centered blow as you saw, so I'm going to give that another shot. Yeah, I think I got some pretty good penetration on that. Well, that would certainly do it. I don't think I even need to really go through and... Yeah, that's still into the pork shoulder. I didn't miss it or anything like that. Alright, so let's see the damage here. Yeah, this just, I think, blew apart maybe a couple rings. It's just a mess. Yeah, okay, so we completely cut through one. For sure, that's just done. And that's not where the rivet is. That's just in part of the ring. Looks like we blew open we blew open a second one as well. Right there. And we mostly cut through, not quite, but mostly cut through another one right here. So yeah, I would say that's pretty effective. I'm gonna do a couple more just to see if my results are consistent, or if I just got a spot that was a little bit weakened before or something like that, and we'll see what happens. Let's go with this serpent grip instead of raised serpent this time, so now my thumbs are facing the same way. Let's see if this makes any difference. That was still a pretty good amount of penetration. Yeah, I'd say that's still pretty significant. I would not want that going into me. Let's see what happened there. There is at least one broken rivet that we just kind of sliced clean through. You've seen a few of those at this point, so I'm just going to reset. Yeah, once again, pretty significant. Don't want that going into me. Definitely not. And a ring just fell somewhere. It's hard to say if it was from this or a different one. Getting it out is actually surprisingly difficult as well. I think that may have been in the old spot. Let me try again, because that went clean through. That was not in an old spot. And I can still push. Yeah, there we go. That was definitely not in an old spot. And that was pretty scary, for sure. Ugh. Yeah, so let's just take a look at this for a minute. Okay, so this is the mail now. There was the smaller green tape was up here before. The larger green tape was down here. Or here, I don't know, but it wasn't both of these spots for sure. So now we have either one of these is another big opening from the sword. Right here is a big opening from the sword. It's not quite as obvious, but you can see there's some mangled rings there. Right here is a big opening from the sword as well. And that's where the old little green tape was. That was from dagger before. This one is definitely from sword. So what can we take from this? I think this type of sword is really, really good at punching through mail. I wasn't even giving it 100%. I was going pretty hard, but not 100%. And you saw how deep of penetration I was getting. Even on the half sword one, where I started with the point on the mail, it was pretty good penetration. You wouldn't want that entering your body. It was something like that, okay? So I think that the cross section of this, it's a really stiff diamond. And I'll do, like I said, a little bit more of a review on it another time. But it's a really stiff diamond section blade, and it's a very acute tip. So this is great for getting through mail. I think another thing that people don't realize is even if you only get your tip through that much, flesh compresses, and in a lot of these areas that we're targeting with mail, such as the armpits, the neck, the groin, inside of the elbow and stuff like that, take a look and see, especially on the inside of your elbow, how close to the skin some of these veins and arteries are. Flesh compresses on with that pressure, and all of a sudden all that stuff gets closer together. I don't think it would actually take that much. It might not be an instant fight ender to only get that much into somebody, but it certainly wouldn't be pleasant, and you know, they could potentially bleed out if you hit an artery. So I will certainly do some more tests with this, as well as just like a quick overview. Please let me know down in comments below what you think about these tests. I know that my setup wasn't perfect and scientific, but I thought that there was enough give there, and it was reasonable to at least just get an idea of how this might go into mail. Please feel free to comment down below, ask questions. What else would you like to see this sword do? Thank you for coming by the channel. Please click like, subscribe, be good to each other, and ciao.